I think I speak for just about every player in the League of Legends community when I say that preseason is flat out boring and overall just really unenjoyable. The end of the season is always so exciting and intense, considering most players at this time are grinding as hard as they possibly can in order to reach their target rank, and then all of a sudden within the blink of an eye, the end of the season comes, the preseason starts, and the love and excitement for the game slowly starts to fade. Ranked becomes far less meaningful, more and more players tend to troll, making the overall game quality lower, and more than anything, the game just seems pointless to play at times. However, if you want to continue to improve as a player, and if you truly do want to achieve a higher rank in the season to come, then playing ranked is absolutely crucial to your future success. What's going on, Nasteey Nation? It's Nasteey, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering 3 very important reasons as to why you must continue to play ranked during the preseason. Alright, now, so let's jump right into the first reason that you must be playing ranked during the preseason, and that of course is going to relate to the meta shifts. During the regular season, Riot has shown a tendency to only make small tweaks here and there, and then there are some larger changes from time to time, but for the most part, the game will remain relatively unchanged over time. The reason that they do this is because during the regular season is when all of the professional leagues, such as the NALCS, the LPL, the LCK, as well as the newly rebranded LEC are currently running. During the preseason, however, none of these leagues are active, which means Riot can then mess with the game as much as they'd like to without having to worry about messing up the meta too much for professional leagues. In the past, we have seen dramatic changes during this time period, such as changes to the jungle monsters, items, champions, dragons, as well as the addition of Rift Herald and many more things. This season, however, Riot has opted for a more simple approach, and instead they have chosen to just focus on adjusting and fine-tuning some smaller aspects of the game, such as turrets, as well as a few selected runes. Nevertheless, it is still very important that you continue to grind away in solo queue to stay on top of these changes, no matter how big or small they may be. The game is constantly changing, the meta and strategies are developing, and so you must do the same. Can you imagine how confused someone would be if they chose to just ignore playing the game until the start of the next season, then they jumped into a game and had no idea why the turrets now had 5 health bars and why the enemy Jhin now had Dark Harvest? A situation like this would be an absolute disaster. I do think it is worth mentioning though that you can still adapt to the meta and get used to all these changes that the preseason throws at you just by playing game modes other than ranked, but then again, by doing so, you won't be playing according to the changes at the highest level possible, and that really wouldn't be all that beneficial. Thus, I would still recommend that you play ranked instead as a way to continuously challenge yourself to learn and adapt to any potential meta shifts. The second reason that I think you should continue to play ranked during the preseason is so that you can practice new champions. Every time I stream, I probably get at least 10 different people asking me the exact same few questions. Those questions are stuff like, who should I be one-tricking, or how many champions should I play, or should I play an OP champion or pick a champion that I'm more comfortable with? And my typical answer to all these questions is somewhere along the lines of, A, you should never one-trick a champion, it's just not a good idea overall. B, you should have a large champion pool, but only play 2 to 3 champions at a time, and I'll explain that answer a little bit more in just a second. And C, it is better to pick a comfort pick over an OP pick, but you should aim to be comfortable on OP picks. Now I know this may seem a little difficult to accomplish all of these things at once, but it is surely possible via playing ranked during the preseason. The ranking system during the preseason matters far less, and this is both a blessing and a curse. The fact that the game quality will be lower is surely a disadvantage, but this also then gives you the opportunity to practice new champions at a very high level, or at least to the highest level possible for you, without constant fear of losing LP. And practicing new champions is exactly what you should be aiming to do after all. Take the time during the preseason to worry less about your rank and more about your champion pool and mechanics. By doing so, you'll put yourself in a prime position to fit well into just about any meta the game throws at you down the road. Let's say the meta becomes very tank support focused. Well, in a situation like this, you would hope to feel comfortable on champions like Leona and Alistar. Or maybe the meta changes to favor AP mage supports. In a situation like this, you would then want to feel comfortable playing champions like Zyra and Brand. At the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make here is you really have no idea what kind of meta you may face, and by practicing a variety of champions and a variety of styles during the preseason, you can become very well prepared no matter what meta may stand in your way. Personally, at the moment, my champion pool consists of mainly AP mages and tanks. I can play all of the champions previously mentioned, including the Leona, Alistar, Zyra, and Brand, which is nice and all, but even that champion pool doesn't really prepare me all that much for future meta shifts. If the support meta becomes heavily focused around utility supports or potentially playmaking supports, then I'm gonna be a little screwed honestly, but at least I'm aware of that. That's why I've I've set aside my time this preseason to practice a couple utility picks, such as Braum and Tom Kench, as well as some playmaking supports like Thresh and Pyke. If I'm able to practice these champions enough to the point that I'm comfortable on them, then regardless what the meta is come season 9, I should be well prepared and be able to mess around with my champion pool and pick a couple champions out of my champion pool that best suits the meta and spam those champions until a new meta arrives. So I'd highly recommend that you do the same. You take a look into your own champion pool, figure out what you're missing, and then take some time yourself this preseason to practice those champions in ranked. And finally, the third tip that we are going to go over, well, actually, let me start off this tip by just giving you guys a little background of who I am. In other words, I'd like to just quickly inform any of you who may be new to my channel or unaware of my background. I'll try not to drag this out too long, but essentially I was a challenger player all the way back in season 7. I maintained masters and challenger for about 90% of the season, and at one point in time I even peaked at rank 120 in all of North America. But when the season came to a close, I figured ranked was no longer worth playing, and instead I spent my time just playing other games for the most part. And even when I did decide to go back to playing League, I was often playing normal games with some friends or just a casual ARAM, and overall I wasn't taking the game seriously, I wasn't tryharding in my games, and that was going to go on to hurt me in the long run. Eventually season 8 came around, and holy shit, I could not believe how bad at the game I was. I had no clue what champions were good at the moment, I had no clue of what items I was supposed to be building, and worst of all, I had no idea what I was doing wrong. Turns out, spending so much time away from the game made me a little rusty, to say the least. It took me a while, but eventually I was able to get my groove back and start climbing again, but had I just continued to play ranked during the preseason, I would have been much better off. The whole point that I am trying to make here is that spending time away from ranked will ultimately make you a worse player, and that is inevitable. For example, let's look at riding a bike. You can learn to ride a bike when you're 8 years old, not touch a bike for 20 years, then one day hop back on one and take it for a spin without any trouble. League of Legends, on the other hand, is nothing like that. You can spend 3 months away from the game and then come back and have no idea what you're supposed to do anymore. I mean, sure, you won't come back and start playing like someone straight out of Iron 4, but I am positive that you won't be anywhere near the skill level that you once were. It's just how it works. If you don't believe me, then just go ask any other League of Legends pro or streamer and they will tell you the exact same thing. At the end of the day, this is an easy fix though. As boring and pointless as preseason may appear, it is worth in the long run. For all the people out there who are aiming to improve their rank in the season to come, listen close and listen carefully. Stay on the ranked grind, keep trying your hardest to learn and adapt, and I guarantee you that you will see better results next season. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is going to conclude the end of this video, covering 3 reasons why you should play ranked during the preseason. I hope you were able to find this video helpful, and if you were, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Also be sure to follow me over on Twitch and Twitter, as well as join my Discord using the link in the description. Anyways, I would like to thank all of you who did stay to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.